If you are dealing with a toxic person, a narcissistic person, maybe someone with BPD, just someone that isn't good for you, and you keep giving them a chance, they just keep letting you down, they keep hurting you, this video is for you. If you found this video is meant for you to watch. So if you're going through a breakup with a toxic person, maybe this is someone you've given multiple chances to. You've been with them, things were great, things went not so great. You finally decided to walk away. You said enough is enough. I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm not going to deal with this anymore. And you walk away. And all of a sudden things are fine. Things are great. You're doing good. You're feeling back to normal. And all of a sudden they just pop up. They just pop back into your life. And usually it's always the same thing. I've changed. I've learned a lot. I missed you so much. I really messed things up. And then you decide to give them a second chance. Maybe things are great for a little bit, but then slowly the old version of themselves starts to come up. And this is why, guys, this is why you need to block your ex if they were toxic. If you've given them one chance, you're not ready to block them, fine. But if you've given them two chances, you need to block them. So I'm going to share a story with you of something that's happened to me. And if this doesn't make you realize you need to block your ex, I'm not sure to tell you, because I've been through it. I've been there. I know what you're going through. I know what you're feeling. Because the thing is with toxic people, narcissistic people, borderline people, if you're dating these types of people, you're probably an empath. And these people love empaths. They love the validation you give them. They love the patience you have with them. They can see how caring you are. They see how kind you are. And they envy that. But they also despise it too. They despise they're not that. And that's why they slowly start to do what they do. Because they, in the back of their mind, they somewhat despise you because you're so kind, you're so caring, you're so loving. And they really feel like you don't deserve it. And in a way, it's okay to feel bad for them. You don't need to hate them. You don't need to say, oh my God, these people are horrible people, they don't deserve anything. No, usually I just feel bad for them. So I'm going to share a story with you. So there's a girl I dated. We dated for 6 months. First 3-4 months, things were going great, things were going good. And then she just started being toxic and just never putting me first, never choosing me. Didn't matter what I did, just put me on the back burner. And it didn't matter if I was for men, you know, you need to be in your masculine frame. You don't want to be too needy. I wasn't overly needy or anything like that. But it just wasn't good. So eventually, after 6 months, I just said enough was enough. I ain't doing this. I'm done with this. And then a month later, she messages me, and I was like, I know better. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna get back into this. And then every month or so, she would just message me and say she was sorry, try to get me back. I wouldn't have any part of it. Well, eventually, after 6 months, you know, you forget the lesson you learned. And then what did I do? I went back to her. Once again, things are great. Things are great for about 4 months. And then once again, she just, you know, started getting toxic, controlling, overbearing, like typical, try to isolate me. Things just narcissists do. If you're with a narcissist or someone that's toxic, you know they need to go over. So eventually, she said something to me that just, at that moment I knew kind of who she was, and I wasn't going to deal with this anymore. So we break up. And then about 2 months go by, and I'm starting to see someone new, I'm with someone new, and she messages me while I'm seeing someone new, and I let her know, like, hey, I'm seeing someone new, like, I don't know if we should be talking, should be doing this. And, you know, I'm not a great person in this story because I kept talking to her. I kept letting her bait me. For 3 weeks, she just told me how she's changed, things are different, just give me another chance. Things will be so different now. And in a way, it was really wrong of me because I was seeing someone while I'm entertaining her. It wasn't good. What I did was wrong, and I feel wrong about it, and as I should. But so eventually, after 3 weeks of her just convincing me that things would be different, I stopped seeing the person I was with to see her. And she just did the same stuff, pulled the same exact thing she's done before. And it didn't even last a month this time. It only lasted a week. until she decided, oh, maybe I don't want this. And I don't know exactly if she went back to someone else or not, found a new supply. I'm not sure, because as soon as I felt things were off and I asked her about it and she was being shady, I blocked her. That was it. It was done. And that's what you need to do. If you're dealing with this, if you're repeatedly dealing with this, with someone who keeps doing this, when you say enough's enough, you're done, you leave, you walk away, you say, I know my worth, I know my value, then they see that. They see you know your worth, they see you know your value. Because it's like they almost want to trick you when you're with them. They want to bring you down. They want to make you feel worthless. They do games to make you think you're not as good as you are. It doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter how much you give them, it doesn't matter how much love you give them, how many gifts you buy them, it doesn't matter, because they're going to keep bringing you down. And that has nothing to do with you, that has everything to do with them. They don't love themselves, and they don't understand why you can love them, and they despise you for it. You don't need to hate them, but you can feel bad for them, or you can just feel nothing. If you can feel nothing, that's great. If you are dealing with emotions, you're dealing with struggle, I get how painful that anger and hatred is to have inside you, so you need to let that go. You can let that go just by saying, hey, they don't know what they're doing. Maybe they do know what they're doing, but subconsciously, I really don't believe they do. And you have to feel bad for them for that. Well, you don't have to feel bad for them. I choose to feel bad for them. That's what helps me let go. That's what helps me get over. That's what helps me not hold the hate, not hold the anger inside of me. Because if you hold that hate, you hold that anger inside of you, you are then going to attract the same type of person by holding on to that. You cannot attract something new and something better if you're holding on to something in the past. And when they keep coming back, the universe in a way is almost like, did you learn your lesson? Did you learn your lesson yet? Are you just going to cut this off right away? And you might know, oh, if they come back, I might not be able to. I realize that now. I had a blocker. I mean, at this point, some people just have those people in their lives that it doesn't matter what they do to them, how much they hurt them. For some reason, you just can't let them go. And the only thing you can do is just block them and cut them out and make sure they can never affect your life like that again. And I know it's hard. I know it sucks. It's painful. Because at the end of the day, you saw a good side of them. You saw a good side of them, and that's the only side you wanted to see. And you'd see the bad side, but you'd say, no, they got this good side. But here's the deal. They still have that bad side. You can't just say, oh, well, there's this good side of them, sometimes the bad side shows, or sometimes the bad side shows a lot, then the good side comes out. I know they can be the good side. Yeah, they can be the good side. But they are also the bad side. There are two sides, and you have to deal with both. And you should have enough self-worth to know you don't have to deal with both. Because a lot of times when they come back, they just want to know they can get you back. They just want to see they can get you back. For 3 weeks, I had someone convince me to leave the person I was with, convince me they'd changed, convince me to give them back. And I remember when I finally did, I finally left that person and I sent them like, hey, I just ended things. It was like the energy completely shifted. And at that point, I knew I had made a mistake. I knew I had just let someone come back into my life and affect it. Affect it in a way that I knew wasn't good. But it was the universe. It was the universe just coming to me and just saying, hey, did you learn your lesson yet? Are you going to let this person come back into your life and alter it again? Mess it up again? Apparently I didn't learn my lesson. But I have learned it since then. And that is the biggest thing. And you can't regret all the times you took their words for real. You didn't see it for what it was. Because if you believe someone's a good person, that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to see the good in people. But if you're a giver, you're an empath, you just truly love to love people, you have to recognize when these people aren't deserving of your love. They're not deserving of your light. Because there are givers and there are takers. And if you're a giver, takers will just keep taking. And there's nothing wrong with being a giver. People say, oh, just don't give so much. No, if you're a giver, you can be a giver. But you have to recognize when someone's a taker. When you recognize someone's a taker, that's a non-negotiable. You just cut it off. It's done. It is what it is. It doesn't matter how much it hurts. The hurt of you staying there is going to hurt worse. There's this song I was just listening to, and it goes, some of them want to use you, some of them want to be used by you. And you have to realize when you're in the relationship, do you just want to be used by them? Is that what you want? And why? Does it feel familiar? Does it feel familiar from childhood? What's this childhood pattern? What's this childhood dynamic that you have going on that you allow someone to come into your life and treat you this way? And that is why you need to be checking in on your inner child every day. See, this is the thing. When you go through a breakup, you have all this motivation to heal and do all the right things. You're journaling, checking in with your inner child, meditations, creating new meaning within yourself, doing things you love and enjoy. But the thing is, as the pain starts to go away, sometimes you start to stop doing certain things. You start to not journaling as much because, I don't really need to. I don't feel like I have to. I don't feel sad. You stop checking in your inner child because you're like, no, I'm good, I'm healed. No, these are things you have to keep doing. It's like taking antibiotics. Like when you go to a doctor and they give you antibiotics and they say, just because you start feeling better, don't stop taking these. That's because even though you feel better, the infection can still be there. And that's the thing. You almost have to look at it like when you're going through a toxic breakup or dealing with a toxic relationship and you're getting over it, you've walked away and you're doing all these things and then you start to feel better. You have to remember that the infection will still be there. So you can't stop. You can't stop journaling. You can't stop meditating. You can't stop checking in on your inner child. Writing down your wins every day, the effect that'll have on your life when you start to notice your wins. And just start noticing the love in your life and the love around you. And as you create this meaning, you're going to feel so much better. It's like you're going to be seeing life in a whole new world. Here's the thing. You can do all these things and you can be in the best headspace possible. And all of a sudden they can come back. They can come back into your life. That infection can come back into your life. And that is why if you don't know if you're strong enough, when that comes back, to say no, just block them. Because most of the time, there's nothing you need to hear. Yeah, I got this big long apology text, and it was everything I wanted to hear. It was everything I wanted to hear. How she was wrong, I was right, she messed up, wishes she could have did things differently, how things would be better now. Yeah, I wanted to hear all of it, but it doesn't matter, because it's most likely a lie. Do you really believe the person has changed? And are you really willing to risk your mental health and sanity again, to go through it again? But I get it, you want to believe people have changed, you want to believe people are better, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when someone has showed you once, twice, 3 times, it's done. You can't give any more second chances. Because the universe is not going to reward you if you keep giving them second chances. Now, let's even say their actions change. Their actions change, but how long are those actions going to change? So, you're struggling, you're on the fence, like, well, we broke up, do I block them, do I not block them? If this is the first time you guys broke up and you don't want to block them and you're just not ready, fine. But if it happens a second time, please, just block them. Don't make the mistake I did. Don't make the mistakes I did. Because it's not even like you broke up and are giving it a second chance. I guarantee in the relationship there's a lot of things they did before the breakup where you were giving them all these chances, all these little chances. Technically I could say, I gave her 3 chances. But I look at all the chances throughout the relationship, there's probably closer to 20 to 30 chances. So think about that. Don't make the mistake that I made. Now since then I've done a lot of work on myself, I've done a lot of inner healing to not make those mistakes and identify people like that right away. So do the work, do the inner healing, and when you do start dating again, don't neglect the red flags. It's good to see the good, but also see the things that are showing you right away. When you can walk away before it's going to take a month to recover, 2 months to recover, 3 months to recover. Some people take 2 years to recover from a trauma bond. I know people that it could be 3 years, they're still trying to recover from a trauma bond. Now, if it takes 3 years, they're probably not doing the things that I mentioned to get over it. But regardless, don't take that risk, because you have one life to live, and you should live it happy, you should live it fulfilled, and you should live it full of love. And I'm Brandon, and I take people from breakups to breakthroughs.